Have you ever felt that someone says one thing but means another? A colleague smiles, but you feel coldness. A boss says, "Everything is fine," but you get goosebumps. 500 years ago, one man in Florence learned to see the truth in 30 seconds. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli. Now you're going to learn his system. 7 signals that a person cannot control. Recall a conversation after which you felt like an idiot. When you were promised one thing but got another. When someone swore loyalty, then betrayed you a week later. The problem isn't them. The problem is you. You listen to words, but words are what people want you to hear. Machiavelli understood. There is a language that cannot be faked. 7 signals. And now you'll learn them. But first, something important. Machiavelli wasn't a villain. He was an observer. He who wishes to profess goodness at all times will come to ruin among so many who are not good. This knowledge is not a manipulator's weapon. It's a thinking person's shield. Let's go. Machiavelli noticed this back at the Florentine court. When a person tells the truth, they simply tell the truth, briefly, without embellishment. When a person lies or hides something important, they explain, at length, in detail, with all the extras you didn't ask for. This is called over-justification. The mechanism is simple. Lies create internal tension. The brain tries to relieve that tension by adding details meant to prove the truth. But those very details give it away. A modern example. You ask a colleague, "Did you send that report?" Truthful answer, "Yes, last night." Suspicious answer, "Yes, I sent it. Right after we spoke. I made sure it went to the right address. I even took a screenshot just in case, because I know how important this is." The more words, the less trust. What to do? When you hear an over-explanation, don't interrupt. Let the person talk. Every extra word is new information about where the tension lies. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "Don't watch the words, watch the moment before the words." Psychologist Paul Ekman discovered in the 1970s, the human face shows true emotion for 1/25th of a second, before consciousness can hide it. 2 expressions are especially telling. Anger, pressed lips, lowered brows, tension around the eyes. Contempt, an asymmetrical smirk, one corner of the mouth slightly raised. This is the most dangerous expression in negotiations. How to develop the skill. Watch interviews with the sound off. Focus on the face in the pauses between words. That's where the truth lives. Machiavelli did this even without video. He just learned to look where others didn't. When 2 people are genuinely engaged in a conversation, their bodies begin to move in unison. That's mirroring. The reverse signal, desynchronization, is even more telling. Crossed arms, torso turning away from you, feet pointing to the exit. That's disagreement he hasn't yet voiced. Case study. In negotiations with Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli noticed that as soon as Florence came up, Borgia would turn away and fidget with his ring. Anxiety. Machiavelli used that, and Florence survived. You've already noticed, none of these signals are about words. They're about fear, about the desire for control, about pain, about past trauma. Machiavelli, 500 years before psychologists, understood the main thing. People are not rational. They look rational, but inside, they're animals who are afraid and who want. That's why these signals work. And that's why the next 4 signals will be even more interesting. Let's go. When a person answers a difficult question too quickly, the answer was prepared in advance. When a person pauses where no pause is needed, they are making a decision right now. A rehearsed answer implies this person expected the question. Ask yourself, why? An unexpected pause. You've touched something real. Modern example. Are you happy with your job? An immediate, yes, of course. A socially learned response. A 2-second pause, a glance away, then, yes, there's a story there. A pause is not a lie, it's a door. Your job is to stand quietly by that door. One of the favorite tricks of people who want to hide something is not to lie, but to steer the conversation away. Machiavelli called this the art of diversion. Example: why was the project delayed by 3 weeks? You know, we worked under very difficult conditions. The team did everything possible. Notice, there is no answer to the question, why? There is an answer to the question, did you try hard? How to respond? Quietly, without aggression, return to the question. Once, twice, 3 times. If a person evades a direct answer 3 times, you already have your answer, just not the one you were given in words. How a person speaks about people who aren't in the room, that's exactly how they will speak about you when you're not there. A person who constantly belittles others is using you as a mirror for self-affirmation. A person who speaks neutrally or with understanding knows how to separate the person from the action. Marker words. All people are like that. Generalization, because specifics are painful. He always, she never. Absolute constructs equals emotional trauma. Machiavelli wrote, "Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony." Listen closely. Where does a person speak most intensely about honor? That's where their vulnerability lies. A person's character is not seen in comfortable situations. It's seen the moment something goes off plan. Machiavelli's technique? He would deliberately change the terms of negotiations right in the middle of the meeting. Stand up, move to another seat, name different numbers, and watch. A person who maintains their composure in any situation is either a professional or psychologically strong. A person who, at the first surprise, starts getting nervous, rushing, making concessions, you've just found their limit. Important. Don't confuse anxiety with dishonesty. A nervous person isn't necessarily lying. A signal is always information, not a verdict. 7 signals are not 7 separate tools. They are one system. Machiavelli understood what we forget every day. People are not governed by reason. They are governed by fear, the desire for recognition, past pain, and the need for control. Words are the interface. Signals are the code. When you learn to see the code, you stop reacting to the interface. And that changes everything. negotiations, relationships, career, friendship. Not because you become a manipulator, but because you stop being an object of manipulation. If this video changed the way you look at conversations, hit like. It helps the algorithm show this content to those who need it. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video about how people with the dark triad use these same signals to hide. Remember the Spanish ambassador? Machiavelli didn't expose him. He just looked at him for 30 seconds, then said, "Your Excellency, you lie poorly. Send someone who does it better," and close the door. That's what this system gives you, not power over others, but freedom from their lies. Now go and look at the people around you. You already know how.